I just happen to have another mystery with cards. What a surprise. Let's see, before we go any further, or farther as the case may be, as my thumb runs along the edge of the deck like this, in a loud, clear voice, if you would, just say stop. My thumb, understanding English perfectly, will respond accordingly. Just say stop. Excellent, right there. We'll place one little card to the side for a moment. By the way, in a second, I'm going to ask you to take that card, hold it by your fingertips just like this. And when you do that, I'd like you to stab it into the deck somewhere. Don't worry.
Okay.
No harm will come to you or me. Now, when you do stab it into the pack, I want you to stab it anywhere you like. It could be top, bottom. Don't put it on the bottom or the top, but just stab it in there anywhere you want. Excellent. Very good. Oh, I apologize. You know, I didn't even show you what that card is. You selected the card a moment ago, and there it is. It's the Four of Clubs. The Four of Clubs, you stabbed in there. And you stabbed it into this spot. And there they are, the two other fours. It's very interesting because, you know, I have a lucky card that I always keep in my pocket. In fact, it is right over here, and that card just happens to be the other four. What you're about to see is quite a coincidence. We're going to stab these cards into the pack and you will see what happens. Let me show you the setup, of course. You have the four fours, could be the four aces. I like the fact that these are four cards as well as the fours. One of these cards, of course, you can place wherever you like. It can be in a shirt pocket. It can be in a card box beforehand if you like. This makes for a nice revelation. So this one is off to the side. These three are on the top of the pack. What you will do is, of course, have the four of spades first on top of the two red ones. You are going to force the four of spades, the first black four. A nice way to do this, and you can go about it a couple different ways, is to have the cards cut, and you ask the spectator to cut the cards like this. You will now take the lower half of the pack and say, let's mark the cut. This is called verbal ambiguity. It sounds important, but remember the four of spades is right there. Allow a moment to pass, pause, and then say, would you take a look at the card you have cut to? That's one way to force the four of spades. The tried and true method that I like to use is as follows. You're set up on the pack. You force this card. I kick cut off the upper half, replacing the lower half, holding a little finger break. This is called a riffle force. This index finger goes underneath, and now my left thumb is going to riffle down the side of the pack. I ask my audience to say stop. Remember, I'm holding a break back here. When they say stop, I do, and I merely lift up this upper pack at the break at the back. Place this pack on the table and offer the card to the spectator. I replace this pile back on top. These are where my two red fours are. The audience has now just been forced the four of spades. I'm now going to take the top card and place it on the bottom of the pack using presentational subtlety. I will ask my spectator to stab this card into the deck wherever they like this, keeping the card face down, of course. I tell them using this top card, I say, stab the card somewhere in the deck if you like. Anywhere here, it's up to you. Don't place it on the bottom, stab near the bottom or on top. That's the presentational subtlety for getting the four to the bottom. You now have a four in both places. The audience stabs that card in. You mention, by the way, let's take a look at this card. This is the Simon Switch now by Bill Simon. I spread off these top cards, and as I do this, my right hand tends to drop lower than the left-hand pack. My hand turns palm down as I reach over to take this protruding card. As it turns over, we note what that card is, and notice how my right hand is lower than the left-hand pack. These cards now rest right on top of it. I have just placed the 2 red 4s next to the 4 of spades. The audience will remember as if they stabbed the card in, and there's the 4 of spades sticking out. The fact that I turned it over almost will go right past them. There it is. By the way, I have a card off to the side, you tell your spectator. Before I even started, I placed 1 card in this box, and that is my prediction, the 4 of clubs, the other black 4. Quite a coincidence. Oh, and by the way, you stabbed this card right between 2 cards in the middle of the deck. Draw these off, and there's the 4 of hearts and the 4 of diamonds. You stabbed that card right between these 2. There you have your final production of the 4 cards by a stabbing coincidence.